Do you want me to intro or do you want intro?
It's up to you, boss.
Who's going to intro? Do you want intro?
I
intro? You intro.
Well, we can just start. Let's just start.
Okay.
Welcome to
So
the
how are
Greg
you
and
doing
Tim
today?
Show.
Oh, you
Are
want
we talking to them?
Are we doing
Am I talking to you?
So it's an intro.
Yeah, it's an intro.
Oh,
It's like
you
that
said let's just
Spider-Man
start.
thing. Okay, let's start.
Okay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Welcome to the Greg and
Welcome
Tim
to the
Show.
Greg and yes. I'm gonna yell over here.
Get your earballs ready. Welcome to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Take time to sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Way back here.
That way you don't ruin people's earballs. Earballs.
So have we started? Have we officially started?
We officially started. But before you get into it, I want to do a quick little rundown.
Yeah.
Everybody at home, I've been told that people need to know what's going to come up on the show.
Okay, so I would like to spend some time highlighting what's happening in the show.
Okay, you're going to highlight it with a highlighter. I'll highlight it by telling people. Today we're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets and the Rick Bowness interview that was done,
Bones,
not by us,
as he is.
We did not
known.
do the interview.
Hey, we should get Bones, eh?
We should.
Bones.
You think we can get Bonus?
I think we can get
on
Bones,
here.
yeah.
We can try.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to talk about how you're supporting local once again.
Yes, it's been a
Supporting
while.
Local Timothy Paul Sanderson. We don't have to go. You don't have to go into it yet, but we'll go into it in a few minutes.
My boycott is over.
The differences between Canadian food and American food. I sent you a video that's very telling about these things.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
And we also have a big monumental date that happens today, the day of recording, that we're going to go over, and we're going to reminisce about our time at this specific date.
Yes.
But
this is the anniversary of something at this time.
Yeah. But before we go into all of that, all of the grandiose stuff about our show today, and it is big.
Should we hit the intro music?
Hit the intro music. Grab your phone. It's podcast time. It's the Greg and Tim Show. It's the Greg and Tim Show. And
that's
it.
It's still just as bad as it was on day 4.
Before we go into all that, the big news, the massive big news, other than unfortunately Scarlett Johansson could not be with us again today. But the big news that you broke actually a couple of weeks ago, and this is different than any other year, it's getting darker early.
I said it once in the group chat.
It's 5 o'clock. It's
no.
Dark.
The thing was, it was going to be 5:30 at the spa we went to, and I said we're not going to see the sunset. And you're like, no, it's going to be sunset because it doesn't go down until 5:26. And then I said, oh, it does, true. And then all of a sudden, 5 days later, the sun was down at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
4 o'clock. It wasn't down at 4 o'clock, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's going to kind of an over exaggeration. But so speaking of the sun going down.
Yeah.
By the way, please like, subscribe, share, all those things.
Yeah. Before we get right into it, remember, liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and commenting on the video just helps people's earballs get filled with the Greg and Tim Show. And Tim loves filling earballs.
That reminds me of when you said to yell, but over here. Near, far, near, far. I don't know. It just popped in my head.
You remember who does that?
That's Sesame Street, right?
Who?
I don't remember.
Grover.
Oh yeah, was it Grover?
Near, far.
Okay, well let's show that right now.
Okay, this is near. This is far.
Perfect. Thank you. You're good at that, eh? You love doing that to me every single week.
My question is this.
Yeah. What is your question, Tim?
Did you know there's places in the world up north, like in Alaska is one of those places, and I think Northwest Territory is another one, where the sun will not appear again for like 65 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Like no sun. No sun for you.
I lived up north. I know what it was like to have zero sun from like 3 p.m. until like 9 a.m.
Right. But that is different than not having any sun. Because Thompson is Thompson. I know you have less sun, but I mean, whatever. You have no sun from 3.
But those places that get no sun also get complete brightness for the entire day in the summertime.
I'm not sure which I could handle, which one I couldn't handle more, because I don't like sun all the time. I like when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
So I think I would dislike each of them equally. So question for you, could you live somewhere where for 2 months of the year, or more than 2 months of the year, there was like no sun the entire time?
No.
No?
Do you think that's why Santa Claus's village has all those lights and stuff? Because they get no sun?
Yeah, I do.
Because honestly, the North Pole would get no sun.
Right. What lights?
Like all the lights in Santa Claus's village. But in some movies, there's sun at Santa Claus's village. That doesn't make any sense.
But the North Pole is not.
There should be no sun.
Where's the North Pole?
On the north end of the sphere of...
Because there's the South Pole and the North Pole, right?
Yeah.
So is in the North Pole, does you have no sun? But
that's right.
You need all those lights anyway. It's like electricity.
I know, but like, if shouldn't Santa Claus be very depressed by the time it gets to Christmas?
Yeah, that's why he gains all that weight.
Because there's no sun. He just eats his feelings.
He eats his feelings.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Go on.
No.
And how does that make you feel?
So sometimes without having sun,
yeah.
One of the people in my office actually has one of those lights.
The white lights, yeah.
It's called a SAD light. So seasonal effectiveness disorder, because that's what they call SAD. So yeah, it makes it like sunlight.
Yeah.
And they have it on when it's gloomy out and cloudy out and stuff like that.
Because you lose the vitamin D. Some people are deficient in that, where they need that.
But it doesn't provide vitamin D. It tricks the brain into thinking that it's daytime, and the circadian rhythm of the body gets tricked to provide that it's daytime.
The good old circadium.
Sir, say sir.
Try.
Sir.
K.
Diem.
Circadium.
That's correct.
Yes. Is there a ding 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 thing? No, that's what we just did. You said it, right? No. Okay.
No.
What do you want to go on? What do you want to talk about now?
Well, I wanted to start the show with Rick Bowness and the Winnipeg Jets. But first of all, you want to know how my week went. And my week went wonderfully.
I don't really care.
I had a lot of fun. Cruz's goal scoring streak has continued. I think it's up to 9 games now, 8 or 9 games for goal scoring, which is pretty big deal.
He has not been available in the Tim's app, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have coffee.
You would have had coffee. Yeah, exactly. I have still not gotten 4 in a row or 7 in a row on the Tim's app.
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, that our friend Matthew got 15 days, I think, in a row.
Yeah.
He got over 2 weeks. He got 14 free coffees.
That was just 13.
No, he got 14. At least 14, but he got 14 free coffees.
Right.
And he doesn't even drink coffee.
I got one of them.
You got 7 days in a row.
No, I got one of his coffees on the
did
way
you?
back from Clear Lake.
Oh, I thought you got 7 in a row.
I did too, but I missed
So you
that
used
day.
one of his coffees and one of your coffees?
Yeah. Well, I missed the first day because they started right away.
Yeah.
I learned that. We talked about this.
Yes, we had a minor debate.
Yeah.
And who was right?
I was right, unfortunately.
No, Matthew was wrong.
Yeah.
I was right.
I think I agree.
He was like, well, yeah, you probably agreed with me because we were right.
Yeah.
He was like, no, it doesn't start until I click to activate. No, you have 5 days left. You have 4 days. You have 3. You have 1 day left.
That's the problem.
No, it's not.
A little bit.
A week of free coffee after you get 7 in a row.
No, but it says you have 7 days to activate it. That's what it says. But the thing is, it's counting down as you have 7 days to activate.
Yeah.
So it's
and you can only activate it once a day.
When they say you have 7 days to activate, it kind of suggests that it'll start after
and it only works once a day.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So Cruz is scoring goals.
Yeah. How's your family doing?
My family?
Yeah. What are they up to?
You're just going to talk about Cruz? You're not going to talk about the rest of your family? That's it?
Eden had an eye appointment today. She has to go back in March, I think. So
right. I see.
Yeah, so that went okay. What else happened today?
Why did she have...
No, they're just random eye appointments, just checkups.
Random?
Well, you have to get eye checkups. They're children.
You don't have to.
Well, if you take care of your children and their health, you should.
I guess.
Do you not take care of your children or their health?
I think I have 3 kids. What are their names again?
Jeffrey.
No, they're girls. Anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. And your lovely wife.
What about her?
How's she doing?
She's doing well. Well,
I don't know. I'm just asking about.
I think she's doing well.
Today's topic is small talk. How's the weather? How's the wife?
Today's topic. But I want to really dive into what you've been doing this week, because you did a little thing today that made you look a little weird.
Yeah, so you can throw the picture up if you want.
I could.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, I just me with.
I guess it's up there.
I sprayed ceilings, and I got white hair. I have white beard. I got paint all over my face.
You still have some paint in your beard.
Yeah,
oh no, that's just gray.
Yeah. Well, there was more gray. I think I ripped some of my beard out when I took the paint.
Mine's gray too, and I need to trim it.
Like, and you can't do anything about that. You can't. I guess you could wear a hat. I should have worn a hat because then it wouldn't get in my hair. But I can't wear goggles because if it just fogs up after 10 minutes. You can't see what you're doing. That doesn't help.
Fog. Yeah.
What the? No. Yeah, I was spraying some ceilings. We were spraying some tile and track, and I got really. I cleaned up, but I didn't clean up everything. I think apparently there was some in my eye. There was some in my ear. I think there's some in my nose. I think I inhaled it. I had paint for breakfast.
So instead of
did you eat paint? Did you eat what is that? Was that from Tommy Boy? Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
Why is it always Tommy Boy?
It's in my top
one.
It
it's
might
in your
be
top
my top
one.
Might be my top comedy of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you filled your earballs with paint instead of with the Greg and Tim show, which people should like, subscribe, and share on.
Like, subscribe, and share. Let me tell you also about my week. Other than today, spraying a lot of stuff in my face and on ceilings. Bad things are happening the last couple of days. Monday, Tuesday, drove me nuts.
Just a reminder to our viewers, if they don't want to listen to any of this, they can skip with the chapters below.
Have you ever been inside your house and you see a mouse just dart? Just dart from left to right. I saw 2 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday.
In your house?
Yeah, and then I'm getting ready to have my breakfast because we put poison down.
You have a house mouse?
Yeah, there's a couple. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to eat my breakfast, and there's a dead mouse. My wife said, there's a dead mouse right there. So, well, I could have stepped in it. You know how gross that is? I hate mice. And there's a couple, but one was dead this morning.
How are they getting into your house?
Well, we have a 120-year-old house.
Yeah. Are they leaving the doors open? Are the girls leaving the doors open?
I have. Well, first of all, they used to get in because of the foundation. Mm-hmm. Then we reinforced the foundation
with Play-Doh.
We just built it up and we just insulated it, and then we insulated the basement.
Yeah.
But every couple of years, something happened, and then that's when we had our cat. I got a cat 8 years ago,
just to catch the mice.
Just to catch the mice, and I said after our cat died, and
we should get a new cat,
buried it in a farmer's field there. That's another story.
Do you want to hear a bad story?
Well, let me finish my story. But yes, I do want to hear a bad story.
Okay.
But we haven't had much for issues,
except
until this last week.
Where you saw 4.
Yeah, I saw 3.
3 plus the dead one.
Well, I'm assuming one of the dead ones was the 3.
Do you think either of them were like Mickey?
Oh, jeez. I hate mice. Yeah, one of them was Mickey Mouse. Oh, my name is Phil. And so that's that. You did notice, obviously, my haircut.
Yeah.
First time that I've gotten buzz on the side.
That's a tight fade you got going on today.
Did you know that when over a decade ago, 15 years ago, I shaved my shaved my head twice?
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Okay, that's right.
Oh my goodness, I got to put those up now.
Side has been completely shaved down to there. So I let Rahib have his way on my hair, and he did a good job.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you writing down? You want to highlight some stuff? I thought that was a good joke.
That's why you made me look for a highlighter everywhere.
Yeah. So I used to go to a church, Mennonite church, and the one joke I wanted to do the announcements because they always have someone go do the announcements, and I just wanted to do it once just so I could have that do my joke.
I'd like to
highlight a few announcents from the bulletin.
Did you highlight on here?
And then I took a big highlighter really quietly, and I did this, And dead silence.
Did you see that?
Nobody laughed.
I can highlight on here.
Nobody laughed. But that's pretty funny. You're not saying anything.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
Okay. What was today? What was the significance of today? I talked to you on the phone, and then I went on and saw my memories.
Yeah,
and it was
on your Facebook.
It was our 5-year anniversary.
5-year anniversary. Happy anniversry, buddy.
Happy anniversary.
And this is awkward.
So the joke is,
it's not really a joke.
You have 5 years, and that's the span of being friends with people, because you have lifelong friends and family,
yeah,
and then you're friends in a season. So we always joke, what are we going to do? And that's why we started the podcast, so we wouldn't float, kind of
away,
just go become distant, right?
Yeah.
That's
you didn't want to become distant because I have a hot tub.
Is it filled, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, good. I brought my swimming trunks. Anyways,
but big announcement.
Yeah.
Tim has signed on for a 1-year extension.
Yeah.
That's what you do with grizzly old vets.
Yeah.
You just sign them for 1-year extensions because who knows when they're gonna.
It's actually a 2-year extension, but it comes with a Google Pixel 9.
Oh, that's your phone extension.
No, the friend and phone extension came together.
Friend and phone extension.
Hey, speaking of phones, are you going to be shopping Black Friday at all?
Probably not.
Black Friday? No, there's some big deals.
I think my son wants to get a new phone on Black Friday, Brandon.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get him a new phone. But otherwise, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're good for phones at the moment.
There's other things to shop for.
I would love to go shopping on Black Friday, actually. But I'm not. We're busy. We're busy Black Friday. We have a very special interview on that day.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We definitely do.
And it's not Scarlett Johansson. It's somebody else.
Should probably put it in my calendar.
It is. It's in your calendar.
It is.
Yeah.
I looked at my calendar today, and
you have to toggle the Greg and Tim show feature so that you have both calendars.
I'm sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 interviews
that week. Yeah.
This next week coming up.
Right. We actually have, if you count the days, we have 3 interviews in 6 days.
Right.
7 days.
Wednesday, Friday,
this Saturday.
So Saturday, Friday, Wednesday.
Saturday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah, and Scarlett Johansson is which day is that?
I don't want to spoil the surprise for everybody. I know, but I don't think she will.
I think Wednesday. I think Wednesday is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it Steve Buscemi?
No, I think this might be.
One of the two? Okay. We have so many people bursting down the doors to be on the Tim show.
Like literally banging the door down right now.
Hey, be quiet.
And we're like, whoa. We're doing our own podcast today. Guests are not allowed in here. We don't even have a sound person, so if the sound stinks, you know why?
Did you stop them saying sucks and went to stinks?
Yeah. Sure, today. Let's talk about the Rick Bowness interview that I sent you.
Yep.
You watched it?
I did.
Yeah. What did you think?
It had to do with Blake Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple years ago, Blake Wheeler was the captaincy was taken away from him.
Yeah.
And it was given to a couple other people to share.
Assistant
captains.
Lowry, Shifley, and Morrissey were the A's.
And the news was like, oh, Blake Wheeler stripped of captaincy. And we didn't hear much about it. But this week, there was an interview with Rick Bowness that he clarified some of the reasons behind that the captaincy being taken away from Blake Wheeler. Yeah. And so it was kind of interesting what his take.
He said that Wheeler took it like a man.
Yeah.
Which, you expect.
He looked like a man.
He took it like a man. And apparently this came from interviews with the players in the offseason stating that they wanted to have voices in the locker room and accountability.
Right.
So Bowness said, I'll give you your voices. Everybody can speak up.
Yeah.
And I will be the one that holds you guys accountable.
Yeah.
So for the first year the Bowness was here, we had 3 A's, but everybody was allowed to speak in the locker room.
Yeah.
And the second year that he was here, Lowry became captain.
Yeah.
And we had Shifley and Morrissey, who continue to be the assistant captains as of this year. Last year, so the first year that he was around, he was saying that things went really well for the first 4 or 5 months of the season, and then the wheels fell off for the last 3 months of the season. And he said to the head office, is this something that's is this what you've seen in the past? And they said yes.
Right.
So they scratched into the playoffs. They got knocked out by Vegas in 5 games. Vegas. And then in the off season, they named their captains. They had a great season. They went up by 15 points, I believe said.
That was the year when you kept saying he's played his last game as a Jet. He's played his last game as a Jet.
The year before I said that. And then what happened was they went up by 15 points. They had 110 points in the season. Second best record in the league. Best goals against in the league. Knocked out in 5 games again.
Colorado.
So he did talk later on about Connor Hellebuck. I don't know if it was part of the interview that you listened to, but I listened to the full interview. And he said Connor Hellebuck took that very personally. Yeah. And you can tell now in this season right now that Hellebuck has been playing a different brand of hockey, but also the defense has been trained and conditioned to keep the high percentage shots out of the zone.
Which they did all of last year until the playoffs. So we'll see.
But it's a different beast. The playoffs are a different beast. Yeah. The other thing that's different this year compared to last year, why the Jets at the time of taping right now are 16-3. And one of the main differences is that they are scoring on the power play.
Oh, yeah. Special teams has been crazy.
And last year they did not.
That's right.
So he said if they could score on their power play at a higher percentage, they would have been unbeatable last year.
Right.
And look at them this year, 16-3. Who knows if they can keep this up? It sounds like this is a system that was in place prior to Arniel taking over the team. Yeah. Arniel probably had a big hand in it because Bowness knew that he was only going to be there for 2 years.
And that was the other interesting thing that clarified or verified what we heard as well, that was the plan the entire time. When he took the job, it was going to be for 2 years and he would retire.
But not that Arniel would take over, but it makes sense. Why would you build something for 2 years and not let your assistant coach that helped
He only verified that he would retire after 2 years. I think it was in the plans that Arniel would take over. Things change.
Bowness actually planned on retiring when he left Dallas.
Right.
And then the Jets came to talk to him and he said, I'll give you a couple of years. Yeah. And he said that after the first season, he was exhausted.
Right.
And then he did one more season and he said that he didn't think that he could put his full effort in. Right. And he didn't want to do October, November, December, and then leave the Jets with an exhaustion. So, and you could tell last year he took some time away because of his wife's illness. And, it's good for him to take care of his wife. Apparently his wife is on the mend. So all the best to Rick Bowness and his wife. And let's hope the Jets keep on going. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next topic of the day is you're starting to support local again, Tim. So can you tell me why? Why?
Yeah, I got a empty cup coffee the other day. I'm just kidding.
You didn't get empty cup coffee?
So I had...
Have you had empty cup coffee?
Yeah. My wife loves it.
It's so good.
Yeah. We have had empty cup.
The new Nitro cold brew vanilla oat latte. Yep. It's in a Nitro can.
Yep.
Vanilla oat latte. Vanilla oat latte. Vanilla oat latte. Vanilla oat latte.
Vanilla oat latte.
It is so good.
Yeah.
You shake it.
Yeah.
You the nitro foams it all up like a foamy bubble,
like a beer.
And like empty cup.
Yeah,
it's my new favorite coffee in a can right now.
Yeah.
But and also I got to tour Empty Cup last week.
Which location? Or
the one that has the facilities? So the one on Panet. I got to tour the back room and everything like that. So that was pretty cool. I got to see where the beans are made.
And you took videos and you're putting.
I didn't put any videos up because I didn't take any videos, but I got to see where the beans are made. Where the magic happens.
Yeah, it's like the places like in Starbucks in Seattle. They have their own.
Do they have that in Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's a special Starbucks though. That's the one that I almost knocked my water over. The one that has like the thing and.
Yeah, the thing. It does have the thing.
Yeah.
It definitely has a thing, and that's pretty accurate.
So you are supporting local other than Empty Cup.
Okay, so here's the story.
Yeah.
I before pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
PP.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic PP.
Yeah.
I had portions of Jets season tickets.
Portions.
And
Pre-pandemic
years ago,
portions.
I had Bomber season tickets too.
Yeah.
And
years ago, that would have been 2010.
Admittedly, since COVID, I've been kind of lax about supporting local sports.
Yeah, you support local businesses, but
sports, I haven't really. If I go to a game, it's because you take me, or
they're free,
whatever. So,
yeah.
But I all
and
of a
you
sudden
cheer for the teams.
All of a sudden, I do miss going to the Bomber games.
Yeah,
beautiful weather outside.
You say Bomber
nice
or
evening.
Bombers?
The Bombers are really good. Even though they've lost 3 Grey Cups in a row.
No, but do you go to Bombers games or Bomber games?
I go to Bomber games.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just renewed or just gotten season tickets now for the 2025 year, in which, and part of the reason why was because we are hosting the Grey Cup game.
Yep.
And I have visions that all of the
sugar plums,
all of the tears will have melted away when we hoist the 2025 Grey Cup in Winnipeg. Caleres retires. Big Hill retires after a healthy year.
Big Hill is not coming back next year.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Why not?
I think he's done.
You think he wants to end in a year where he was injured for the entire year? I don't think so.
I don't think he wants to, but I think he's going to retire.
I say it's 50-50.
Okay.
Anyway, so I bought season tickets and I bought Grey Cup tickets, both. And
but you had to sign up for a.
So I talked to I had to sign up for 3 years.
3 years.
I've re-upped the contract.
Wow, you are signing contracts left and right. You have a 1 year contract with me.
Yeah.
A 2-year contract with your phone that you just signed 5 minutes before the recording of this podcast.
That's correct.
And a 3-year Bomber contract you signed last week.
Yeah.
And
and so and I had something to say. My brain went blank. So I'm excited to be. Oh yeah, that's right. So I talked to Carol, who you know well at the Bomber.
Yeah, because I used to work with Carol.
Yeah, and I couldn't get seats close to you. There wasn't any available.
No.
So I was a section over, closer to the scoreboard and a little higher, maybe 5 rows. I think you're row 11 and row 16.
Yeah.
But she said, "Hey, if I could get
got you on a list,
I could get you 5 rows above Greg." And you can throw popcorn at him. I know how he can be.
She said that?
Yeah, she said that.
She said, I know how he can be.
Yeah.
Carol.
And that's literally verbatim what she said.
Carol? No.
She did. 100%.
The girl was nice.
Oh, that's very nice. But you can have
those
truth,
who know Carol know Carol.
And love.
Those who know Carol because like if you can't talk ill of Carol.
Tickets apparently since the 70s. The 70s. I was born in the 70s.
I think she's worked for the Bombers since the 70s.
Were you born in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yes. I was born in a different decade.
Yeah.
She was going to Bomber games
before you were born.
Before either one of us were born. Yeah. Although close to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Carol is awesome.
Yeah.
Just a little disappointed in her choice of words.
Hey, truth and love.
She
said it in love, but it was the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she said I could throw popcorn at you if she can get. So if something becomes available close to you, then I'll take it.
So yeah, you got Bomber tickets, you got Grey Cup tickets. Grey Cup comes up in a year in Winnipeg, and the Bombers lost to their 3rd straight Grey Cup. We don't want to talk about it because Tim said he's already cried. I cried all the tears.
You know what? I was very adult about it. I told my wife. She said, "I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get mad," and I didn't get mad.
You didn't?
No, because I tend to. One of the reasons why I don't go to games is because I get too mad. But I didn't have any tears or anger over it. I had a good sleep and got up in the morning and life went on. It's just sports. And you know what? It's still impressive to go to 5 straight Grey Cups. I get a kick out of the Rider fans making fun of us.
I know.
I don't remember any of the 5 Grey Cups they went to.
In the last 5 years.
Plus, they only have 6 Grey Cups, 5 Grey Cups, or in the history of the league.
4, I believe.
It's like I don't understand that.
But. We have 12 and they have 4.
Yeah.
I think that the Toronto Argonauts have the most.
Yeah, and they're 8-0 against us in Grey Cups, which is insane.
Can you imagine the
How
flip?
can one team, like, we have to play Hamilton next year, I guess?
Yeah, Hamilton's the team that the Bombers win against,
Yeah.
and I think Edmonton the Bombers win against a lot.
Yeah. So
but we can't play Edmonton unless Edmonton's semi good and does a crossover.
I told you this before, but I used to hate sports for the first 5 years of my life, just hate it. And then the first sporting event that I got into,
Yeah.
and I remember this very vividly, was 1984 Bombers and Hamilton in the Grey Cup.
And
that
the Bombers
was the
won.
first one, and they won. They were down 17-3, and they won like 47-7. Just blew them out in the last three quarters.
Kind of like the Argos did to the Bombers.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Like, I really, really was hoping the Bombers were going to win this year.
Yeah.
Because to go 3 years in a row to the Grey Cup, well, 5 years in a row, but 3 years in a row losing, that's got to be hard. I'm just as sad as you are.
I didn't say I was sad.
Yeah,
I told you. I took it.
You told me. You texted me saying we can't talk about the Bombers. It's an open wound.
That's okay. No, I said it was probably an open wound.
You said you were still bleeding.
That was literally bleeding. I had a gash in my leg.
Oh, did you fall?
No, I'm just kidding. I made that up.
Oh,
I totally made that up.
So now we know who lies
And cheats
and steals. You.
What's that old saying? If don't lie or cheat or steal, but if you have to steal your loved one's heart, and if you have to, like, something really cheesy.
If you have to lie in your loved one's bed.
Or no, is there something else? I don't know.
And yeah, if you have to cheat on your loved one's meal.
No, cheat death or something. I don't know. It's like I would have been prepared if I just came across my computer screen in my brain. I'd like to highlight.
I'd like to highlight a few topics that we're going to go over. So we've gone over the 5-year friendship, supporting local, Rick Bowness. Another thing I sent you this week was the difference between Canadian and American food. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I'm going to show it a little bit here.
We're going to do a blindfolded taste test. Let's open the Canadian one first. Okay, yeah, that looks like what was in the video. Muted colors, not too vibrant. See the American one. Oh my God. Whoa! Holy hell, look at that. That's crazy. This looks like candy, and this looks like oatmeal. Of course kids want this. Both made by Kellogg. What is making that color difference? Well, the American one uses food coloring, like red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, yellow 6. And the Canadian one uses fruit juice for coloring. Watermelon juice, blueberry juice, Guido juice. Other than visual, does it cause a taste difference? We're going to find out. Here we go. Let's go with this one first. That's good. That's really good. Let's see this one here. No, not nearly as strong of a Fruit Loops flavor. Not at all. Let's go back. Oh, yeah, that hits you. That's it. I mean, this has to be the American one, right? Because visually, it would taste this way. Here we go. The moment of truth. This one is the better Fruit Loops. But which country is it from? What? No way. It's the Canadian one. What?
So this guy is funny. I watched him a lot pre-pandemic. Him and his buddy used to go because he worked in Buffalo.
Yep. So
he lived in Ontario, like Niagara area, and he would drive to Buffalo every day for work, and then he would come home. So he'd cross the border every day.
Yep.
And him and his buddy would do this thing where they tried American food and they tried Canadian food.
Yep.
They would do American Tim Hortons and Canadian Tim Hortons, American McDonald's, Canadian McDonald's, and all that kind of stuff, right? This video that we just showed was him trying the Fruit Loops and trying to figure out which one tastes better.
Or visibly how it looks too.
No, he said that based on the visibility, the one should taste better.
Right.
The one that's brighter and more fluorescent should taste better. And he tried them both.
Yep.
And as you saw in the video, the one that tasted better was the Canadian one.
Right.
And the Canadian one looks duller than the American one because the Canadian one is colored with natural food coloring.
Right.
Whereas the American one is colored with dyes.
Right.
Red dye number 10.
Mambo number 5. Yeah.
It's like blue dye number whatever. Purple dye number whatever. So it's all purple and red and blue and green dyes.
Yep.
And dyes, as people have been, sharing on the internet a little bit. You know how the internet is a wealth of knowledge.
I think it's called the interwebs. I'll look it up, but it's called, believe interwebs.
I believe you might be correct.
Yep.
The Google interwebs.
Google. Yep.
Dyes are really bad for you.
Right.
So they're not allowed in Canada.
Right.
It's strange, though, that the Canadian food tastes better.
Well, typically there's more natural ingredients, it will taste better.
So why wouldn't American food not put dyes in it? What do you think the reasoning is for putting the dyes in it as opposed to just dyeing it with natural food coloring?
Cost, I would assume.
You think it's
cheaper.
cost?
It has to be.
So if it's cost, why does the American cereal cost just as much as the Canadian cereal?
Is it equal? Exactly. I think it's cheaper in the US.
Yeah, but their dollar is better.
So if I'm feeding my family crap anyway, what does it matter if it's crap with natural dyes, with dyes versus?
So apparently this red dye number whatever is really bad for you.
Yeah.
Like
now,
it's carcinogen bad for you.
Now it's not just Fruit Loops that this whole discussion lends itself to. If
like Twizzlers.
So why does one, and I said this before, but you have one sriracha have 7 grams of sugar per teaspoon and one has less than 1.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's cost. It's cheaper to pack it full of glucose.
Yeah. You can look at the back of like a Kit Kat bar in Canada versus the US. Yeah. The ingredient list in the US is so much more than the Canadian one.
Yeah.
Like exactly the same foods.
Yeah.
And get even better is that you go, I think, to like a place like Australia and they have even better food regulations than Canada. Right? So the food regulations, like, what is the reason? Is it cost?
I mean, it's consumerism, it's cost. This goes into a.
Do you think it goes down to like visuals?
I really think Americans, I find, I mean, if you are in the lower end of the economic spectrum in general, you are going to purchase the cheapest food because that's the amount of money you have. And typically the cheapest foods are the ones that are packed with some of the things that we shouldn't eat.
Okay.
Right? And that lends itself to Americans as consumers buying things because they're less expensive and being ignorant about, the health factors of it, right? Which leads to things like obesity. I saw someone else also posted some of the stats comparing Americans to Canadians to Europeans. And there's to a certain extent, Canadians aren't devoid of this because we're always attached to the US in some way. So if there's a trend in Canada or in the US, it tends to be in Canada, but maybe not to the same degree.
Yeah.
But all these little things like packing sauces with sugar or having dyes in the food, right, drops the price down and it adds to an unhealthy country or generation, right?
Yeah.
And when you by the way, when you were a kid and 35 years ago, what cereals did you have? And so
Frosted Flakes, the shredded wheat, Cheerios.
Did you have Fruit Loops?
Not really. My parents didn't feed me that.
So your cereals typically were they weren't bright, right? That you had.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so do you think that things have changed, that it's going more so in that direction every year?
So I'm just looking it up as you're talking to me and stuff like that. Apparently, the reason why that they're putting food dyes in and artificial coloring in is to help make them look more appealing.
Right.
And help the food look more attractive.
Shiny ball? It's just shiny ball syndrome?
And it's manipulating the masses.
Right.
So that they'll buy that food.
It's literally shiny ball syndrome.
Yeah. Well, think about a car, right? Like, what looks better to you? A nice, clean, shiny car?
So they're banking on... Okay, if you're buying Fruit Loops to begin with, you're not looking for healthy food. you're looking, and so that I suppose for the consumer, like, let's make it as bright as possible
and making it look like candy.
Yeah.
So even if you think about cough syrup and what they're doing, it's really like it's to make it taste better,
right?
That type of thing. So this comes from I can't read anything because of the internet being so weird.
And that's our segment.
I honestly,
thanks for being with us, everybody.
I can access this article for free if I put in my email address. So, don't you hate paywalls though?
Oh, I hope maybe I should learn how to do AI.
This is like paywalls are the worst. Anyway, so this comes from. I don't have a preference. Select later. Done.
Fascinating.
I just want to read this.
They got
RFK Jr. claims that Canadian Fruit Loops have 3 ingredients and they have 17.
So backtrack.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. is Robert Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Jr.
Yeah.
Who is the grandson of JFK, right? Correct?
Grandson or nephew?
Nephew.
Like I believe he's the nephew.
So, and he was just appointed. Was he appointed by Trump? He can't appoint yet, but he's expected to become the the governor general. Is or
no? He's going to be something to do with the food.
Yeah, sorry.
He's going to be like a food critic of some sort. He vows to make America healthy again.
Right.
And the issue with this is he came out during the pandemic.
Yeah.
To talk about the V word and how he didn't agree with them.
Right.
So what's happening in the States is because he questioned the safety of the V, he can now, he's not being taken as seriously about these other things.
Conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have the position because serious people who have serious medical opinions. And
he also talks about the fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, on The View, pretty sure it was The View, they're talking about how fluoride in the water is good for you because it helps people that have lower income clean their teeth.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, but it's also poisoning you.
Yeah. Also, I think toothpaste does that.
No, lower income families, like families that don't
can't afford toothpaste.
Well, they just don't do it.
Oh,
right. It's supposed to be helping them. But anyway, why do Fruit Loops in this country have 18 or 19 ingredients when Canada only has 2 or 3?
Right.
He said in an interview. Kennedy is known for his debunked medical claims, was wrong about the numbers of ingredients in Canadian American Fruit Loops, which are similar, 17 and 16 respectively. The biggest difference is the dyes, which in the American version is known as red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 1. Canadian authorities limit the use of those dyes. After this article was published, Stephanie Spear, a spokeswoman for Kennedy, said he was referring in his MSNBC interview to the differences in food dyes in the American Canadian versions of cereals. We can all unify behind the goal of making American food healthiest and most nutritious in the world, Spear said in a statement. So essentially what's happening is when he speaks, he's trying to get a point across without having the facts.
Right.
So,
which some argue Trump does, depending on your opinion of Trump.
Yes, exactly.
And he's his right-hand health person now. Yeah.
Just in general, artificial food dyes, the FDA says that they are approved and that food dyes are safe. The totality of scientific evidence indicates that most children have no adverse effects when consuming foods containing color additives, but some evidence suggests that certain children may be sensitive to them. Many countries, including Europe, do not ban those artificial dyes, but require companies to alert customers to their presence by affixing labels to their products.
Just like cigarettes did with their labels as far as smoking.
And that seems to be enough to discourage their use in other countries. The Canadian version of Fruit Loops uses natural coloring, red from annatto. Do you know what an annatto is? Have you ever eaten an annatto?
Not since the incident.
Which comes from achiote seeds, yellow-orange from turmeric, turmeric.
Oh, I
Blue
have a funny video.
Concentrated
I have to
juice
show you a turmeric video
of the Huto tree,
hilarious.
which grows in the tropics. So
Oh,
ideally, I think what you're saying is correct. I think it's a lot to do with cost,
Yeah.
and it has a lot to do with stimulating the brain to eat certain foods.
Do you think that government in North America, specifically, let's say in the last 20 years, cares about what people put into their body as far as healthy foods?
No.
And secondly, do you think they actively go out of their way to make people unaware that something's that you can have a healthy? This is what we were told in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Stay in your basement, get V, and
Wear a mask.
wear a mask. And the
Especially when you're
Yeah.
with your spouse.
the argument was, our favorite,
Dr. Tam.
Dr. Tam. And the argument from people that are saying, listen, where is this discussion about making sure that you are healthy?
Yeah.
You're eating healthy things, you're exercising. Because I think one of the things we learned during this pandemic was if you were at risk because you were not healthy, you're more at risk. Just like if you're at more risk to get a cold, if you don't eat healthy, you don't get your sleep, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But nobody was saying, make sure you get your vitamins, make sure you get your rest, make sure you get your exercise, all these things. And it's funny now that somebody, RFK Jr., is saying, and I'm not saying everything he says is true,
No.
because maybe he's got a lot of facts incorrect, which is what I would believe that.
I think that's the problem, is a
but-
lot of his facts become
Yeah.
non-factual.
But if you have somebody that is, again, going against the narrative, which is because we have big business that the government's more concerned with. We talked about this about milk products a number of months ago.
Yeah.
Whereas the government wants to push across products more than they want to keep you healthy. And
Yeah.
I think you made the point the government makes more money if you're sick. I think
Yeah.
you said something like that.
So the government will get the money from
Yeah.
the pharmaceutical sales. So Big Sugar gets the money from
Yeah.
selling sugar.
Yeah.
Then when people get sick, Big Pharma
Yeah.
gets the money.
Yeah.
And then once people die,
Yeah.
Big Government gets the votes.
Yeah.
Because the more people die, the more votes go Democrat.
I'm not going to necessarily have an
joking.
opinion about that.
We've just been shut off. Now we can't promote this episode because I talked about the government.
But
Brr.
I love talking about this kind of stuff because, and it's
Yeah.
funny. Some people will be like, "No, they're not. No, they're not."
But
You're a conspiracy. No, Greg, you are a conspiracy.
Have you seen the movie Thank You for Smoking?
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it just shows that all of these lobbyist groups,
Yeah.
they give money to the government
Yeah.
to allow their products to be
A
sold.
kickback. Yeah.
And it's
I can't call it a kickback.
and what's that song? Anyway.
By
But
Big Sugar.
it allows them to sell their products without any kind of friction.
Yeah.
Which gives them more money, which
Yeah.
means the government will also get more money.
Yeah.
So, like, it's kind of an evil cycle.
So I really believe, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You know this about talking about the Mandela effect all the time. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
The Mandela effect is real, by the way.
Yeah. Well, sure. But I really do believe the government has no interest in having someone maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Speaking of anniversaries, it's our 1-year anniversary of the Mandela effect conversation.
Today, on the exact day of our 5-year, is also our 1 year. And I have a 1 year, I have a 2 year, I have a 5-year this week.
This is a 1-year anniversary, not a
Right.
5-year contract.
Okay.
But the big thing about that Mandela effect video is that when I go into our YouTube analytics,
Yeah.
the last 28 days, the Mandela effect video is still the most watched video just in the last 28 days. The last 28 days, it's got 1.6 thousand views
We will have
just for that one
we will
video.
have these awesome conversations that are like, health, and the government doesn't want this, and we're like, this was awesome, and then the only thing people want to talk about and comment is about how I watched Sinbad in this.
Sinbad was in Shazam.
I have it. I can. Nobody ever supplies it for us, but I watched it with my grandma.
Sinbad.
I watched it 7 times. I have the DVD.
Yeah.
No one's produced it for us to see, but apparently it exists.
Just like Jingle All the Way.
So I guess
Sinbad's movie Shazam apparently has been seen by millions. The Mandela Effect video 1,600 views in the last 28 days. In the last 48 hours, it's got 49 views, and the video is a year old. And
why?
We are getting other views on other
put
videos.
$1,000 down on that video,
but
it would go viral.
Can you imagine that video would go crazy? $1,000 to make that video go crazier. Let's see if we can make it go absolutely bananas.
Well, it'd be 500.
Test it.
How?
We'll just put $10 on it. See what happens.
I would put like 50. 25 each.
I don't have that much money.
Well, yeah, you were going to do 1,000.
No, you were.
No,
I said we should test it. I would love to do 1,000.
You said $10, yeah.
If you want to sponsor our podcast,
yeah.
We just want to test out whether or not our video will get over 1 million views.
Oh yeah. What's up for you this weekend?
So this weekend, kids have hockey.
Yeah.
I'm going to. It'll be over by the time this is on, but I'm going to the Walmart on Kenaston to donate toys for the Holiday Heroes toy drive,
right?
For the Salvation Army.
I saw you posted that.
Yeah, so excited to go do that and show the kids how to give back to the community. Sunday will be more hockey and ringette. I am sure
You're playing the ringette, obviously.
I'm playing the ringette. Well, of course, I'm playing the ringette. I don't have my calendar on my. Oh, I do have my calendar on here. Let me just see what I got going on. I got. Well, this doesn't have this week's calendar. So, yeah.
And then Saturday we have the aforementioned.
Oh, we do have a podcast recording on Saturday,
and
which
it's our first.
Today's Monday that this people are listening to this, but
it's our first returning guest. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's our first returning guest.
Our first official returning guest.
Yeah, for a full-length interview.
For a full-length interview.
They wanted to talk about politics, and so, yeah.
And I've actually got some surprises planned. So next week, you're going to want to tune in for this guest. You're going to want to tune in for this episode because I got some surprises for Tim.
And
we're going to talk about some things very similar to the food thing that we just talked about.
And I think tomorrow we're going for a drive to pick up some American Fruit Loops, picking you up at, I think it was 4 o'clock, right?
In the morning?
4 o'clock after work. I'm going to pick you up after work.
Okay.
I think... Ben is expecting a pickup at 6, but we're all going to go together to get that. So I got to get some coffees as well. And probably, I think there's someone else coming in the vehicle, but he didn't say who it was.
Oh, speaking of that, no, I'll leave it for another episode.
Yeah. So
it's just the two of us in the room today.
Yep.
No special person behind the camera, unfortunately. And we'll see how this episode turns out. I think it was fun, Tim. You know what? I think the funniest part was
I kept fiddling with the pen and I broke it 3 times.
You broke my pen.
The highlighter part?
And you're funny.
Thank you. Let's just highlight some closing announcements.
Can you highlight the closing announcements? Perfect. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share.
Highlight at home your favorite part, and then copy and paste as a comment to our videos.
And also make sure you're sharing this on Facebook and Instagram if you have it on Instagram stories. And if you have personal contact,
let's go into all the cameras.
Oh, if you have personal contact with Scarlett, can you make sure that she doesn't cancel again for this upcoming week?
She promises next week.
Now we have it in the schedule that we're doing 3 interviews in the next 7 days.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that everybody shows up.
I heard it was because we ran out of bubbly last week, but I cannot confirm that.
That was Paul's fault.
We're not assigning blame here, but that was just what I heard.
No, I'm blaming Paul.
It was Paul's fault. Yes.
Yeah. But we like to thank all of our viewers, listeners, earball fillers. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for watching it. And thank you for getting me to sign Tim on to another 1-year agreement. We'll see how this year goes. And if it goes horribly bad, well, I warned myself now.
No, that's why we do 1-year contracts. Because if something happens in that year, then you can't. And of course, in the CFL, you can have a 1-year contract and you could be,
let
released.
go in
You
the
can
middle
be
of it.
released. So,
So if you'd like Tim to be released,
hey, I still get paid. No, do they get paid?
No, they
Do
don't get
released?
paid.
Okay, if please.
I'll give you 100% of what you're getting paid now if you get released.
So I wouldn't have to chip in any money.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.